Okay, hi guys. So I popped a couple of questions about what you guys would like to see between the GH5 and the A7 Mark III, the new camera from Sony. What comparison videos and what sort of tests you'd like me to do. I went out today and got a bunch of different shots. I did stills, JPEGs, 4K, HD, slow motion, S-Log, S-Log2, V-Log, kind of Cine, Cine 2s, Cine like D. I kind of went crazy and I've got about every test you can, well, nearly every test you can imagine. I've kind of captured today, and so if I tried to get all these into one video, it's just going to be a ridiculous, a long video with just too much information. So I'm going to break them down into a few different videos for you. The first one's going to be nice and simple. I'm just going to be looking at sharpness with JPEGs and with 4K video. So let's get those out of the way first. So just to explain what's going on here, with the GH5 I generally always use the GH5 with the XL metabones speed booster, which gives you the most equivalent to full frame field of view and depth of field as you can get on a Micro Four Thirds camera basically. I do have Micro Four Thirds lenses as well, but that's a whole extra sort of thing. I kind of wanted to use the same lenses on both cameras, and I'm using Canon EF mount lenses most of the time. And for these tests, what I did is I basically put Canon 24-105 on the Panasonic L lens, and then the 70-200 2.8 Mark II lens on the Sony, and then I swapped them back and forth so they both had equal opportunity to use both lenses. So even the lenses aren't too much of a disability because they both get a chance with both lenses. Now that's f4 on the 24-105 on the Panasonic, and we have f4 on the 70-200. Now with the Panasonic, because of the speed booster, it reads as f2.5, but it's technically an f4 lens. So basically they are both set to f4 as far as the lenses are concerned. Now if we have a look, we have the Sony to the left here, and we have the Panasonic to the right. Let's have a little bit of a pixel peep. So this is in 4K 25p. They're both metered in the middle, and they're both in natural and neutral profiles. There's a tiny bit of a wobble there because it was quite windy, and I did turn off IS because I wanted I didn't want the IS to be a factor here at all. I wanted it just to be no IS basically. So excuse the tiny wobble from the wind, but that's just Mother Nature for you. So as you can see, there's not a huge amount in it, but let's swap them back over now. So we have the 70-200 on the Panasonic, and we have the 24-105 on the Sony. Okay, so that's what that looks like when we swap the lenses back. Here's the 70-200 on the GH5. Let's now bring those in side by side again so you can have another quick closer look. So GH5 on the right with the 70-200, a73 on the left with the 24-105. Let's have a closer look at that for you guys. So here we are at 200%. So you've seen them both now with both lenses on either side. I think that's pretty fair, recorded at the same time, so obviously light doesn't change or anything. There you go. So I don't think there's much in it, but let's have a quick look at the stills as well, because that is obviously a whole different category. Let's have a quick look at those. Okay, so let's look at some still JPEGs. We're looking at these at 50% at the moment, so in the 4K timeline we're looking at the image 50%. Here is the Sony images first, full frame, and if you have a look at, now we'll swap over to the GH5 and you'll see the megapixel difference there. See that it's a bit smaller in frame. That is literally the difference in megapixel, what you're getting between the GH5 and the Sony, and there's the GH5 with the other lens. To make this make a bit more sense, let's put them all side by side so you can have a better look. So here we have the Sony on the left, GH5 on the right, with both different lenses swapped over. That's at 100%. Let's go in a bit closer, and here we are at 200%. So again, Sony on the left, GH5 on the right, and this is now at 200%. So in the 4K timeline, it's scaled up, 200% from the standard image if you just dropped the JPEG straight into timeline. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, so there you go, guys. I think that's that shows you that, obviously we're using the same lenses here and swapping back and forth. We're using the metabones speed booster to bring the field of view in line, And obviously I got my framing as close as I could between the two different lenses, within the parameters that the lenses allow. They're all Canon L lenses, and obviously I'm swapping back and forth as well. So I think that is about as fair as I can possibly make it with using the same lenses. And as you can see, the Sony is a bit sharper than the GH5. It's certainly in the stills. In the video, not as much, but it does have it edged slightly. But you really do have to pixel peep to notice this increased sharpness. So I really don't think anyone should make a big deal out of this extra sharpness that the Sony a73 has given us over the GH5. It's just a little bit sharper on the Sony. But there you go. I hope that was useful. Obviously, with the Sony stills, the megapixel count is higher, so that is going to be, a big portion of why it is a bit sharper coming out of the Sony. You have the 24 versus the 20 in the GH5 megapixel. So bear that in mind. In terms of the 4K video, it is slightly sharper coming out the Sony, but let's not go mental here. It's not massively noticeable. It's negligible, but it is a little bit sharper. Anyway, guys, I hope that was useful. As I said at the beginning of the video, there's going to be a bunch of more tests along these lines. I'm kind of investigating all this stuff myself because I want to keep both cameras. I want to know which cameras are best for both, and where the pros and cons are. As far as I'm concerned, I love both of these cameras already. So they both have faults, they both have pros. I'm not for or against either of them. I'm just sort of investigating my new camera and comparing it to my much loved GH5. There you go, guys. I hope this was useful. I'm going to sign out there, and yeah, subscribe if you want to see more of these, because like I said, there's more coming, because I've got a lot of footage and a lot of stuff to go through, and I'll try to make each video on sort of one specific topic so that they're not too damn long. Anyway, peace out, guys. I hope that was useful. Bye.